Alright, it's going to be an attempt to do a motor teardown video. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I figured why not. Tripod's a bit wonky, so hopefully it doesn't fall up over again. But what we got here is your typical Lasko Marco motor from the 90s. The focus is not working very well. But yeah, the typical 90s Lasko motor. This one's a little rough looking because of, well, I think this was something I found years ago, but the bearings are still good in it, so I kept the motor shells. This is actually kind of a bit of a Frankenstein of a motor because I believe the original motor shells are no good and I swapped them over. So yeah, there's really no need to tear it apart because it works fine and the bearings are perfectly aligned in it. But I figured I'd do a video on how to tear down a motor. Why not? So these motors are pretty simple to work on, honestly. You'll need a brush, like one of these little bolt. I forget what they call them. It's like 4 in the morning and when I'm recording this, but yeah, you need one of these like socket things. And yeah, you just take it off like so. Now this socket thing is kind of crappy, but it gets the job done. Alright, from this point, it should be noted that you want to be careful with this wire right here. Now, one of the first one of these I ever torn apart, I managed to rip this all out. And I really regretted it. But you want to get the front one off first. That's how I do it anyway. And how to do that, get another screwdriver and use your little socket screwdriver thing. Kind of tap it around the edges like so. It gets loose. When it does get loose, it'll pop off like that. And then you got the internals, the motor shaft, and then the motor itself, which this is where you want to be careful with it because this back shell will rip the wire out. Now, there's an easy method to this that I usually use, and it's probably not a very good one, but it works. You kind of tap in the center here until it pops off, and you gently just take it off like that. Now, generally there would be a switch up here, but this motor is not connected to a switch, so there's no switch. This is just a spare motor I have laying around. And yeah, you want to be careful with this wire right there. And then you can just dust it out. This one's actually kind of dusty. Surprisingly. I don't have an air compressor or any of that fun stuff, so I'm gonna make do with it. And once you get the back side dusted out, I usually like to put it back together. Well, not put it back together all the way, but you know. And yeah, this motor's actually in pretty good shape. It doesn't really need servicing, but you know, it's here. And it doesn't need oiled because it's actually got fresh oil in it. But hey, you do oil these and get your zoom spout oil. And what you want to do is get this in frame, maybe. Make it so you can see better. What you want to do is you want to oil around this and in there. And if you oil this, it will make, if you oil this felt pad thing that's in here, it will actually prolong the motor's life a little bit more if you oil that and the bearing. I mean, I've had fans that I've done this with that have ran for years without much maintenance on, honestly. But like I said, this motor doesn't need it, but you know, I'll put a little bit in there for the heck of it. And then once you get the oil in there, you kind of want to like spin it around a little bit. Make sure it gets in there good. Now the back side's a little bit of a different story. You want to do the same thing with the, like around here, and then you oil in here. I mean, I guess you could technically do the same method with the, you know, oil this. And then you just kind of move it around. Make sure it gets in there good. And then oiling this thing, the shaft, isn't that difficult. Where am I at here? There we go. You just oil it like down the middle, and then you put it together, and it just basically kind of just works itself in. It's not too difficult. Plop it back in. Then you gotta line the front shell with the back shell. Which with these is actually pretty easy because it's already kind of done because of the back being the way it is. And then, yeah, okay. So you want to align the front with the back. So, bolts back in. Make sure you hit the right spot. Which sometimes doesn't always happen. Sometimes you gotta realign it a few times. Hey, I never said I was perfect at this. I do it pretty well. I ain't perfect. Nobody's perfect. And then you just I've worked on so many of these motors that I could probably do this in my sleep, to be honest. Now, if this thing being kind of crappy, it takes a lot longer to make sure than it would look like a proper one. Not tight, but you know, tight enough to, it's not going. You don't want it to be extremely tight, because if you make it extremely tight, you're going to have bearing problems. You want to make it just tight enough to where it's not too bad. You want to kind of evenly doing this. The shell's sleepy. And then the motor will be stiff like this. And what you want to do is just ooh yeah, there you go. Now this motor does run, but I don't have a freaking switch or nothing to put it onto. But there you go. There's a almost 10-minute servicing on a Lasko motor. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.